There it is. Should be available for you to share all over the places you need to share. We'll start with your memories of Michael Nesmith, and then we'll work from there.
Now we'll start your memories of the first play of the game yesterday.
Well, as it turns out, really excellent strategy, huddling on the logo. I thought that turned out perfectly.
Well, by the way, of course, it turned out not to matter because the Raiders ended up crushing them anyway. And
yeah. It was, that's the strategy is you give them that first play, lull them into a sense of security, and beat their ass. I mean, I don't understand what's hard to believe about that.
Yeah. Now, that's the worst first play. I mean, I guess there have been pick sixes on first plays, which are just as bad, but
it was all very awful. But what a day that punter had. Man, our punter kicked ass. Mm-hmm. Oh, there you are. Hello.
Thank you, T-Berry. All right, I think we got it.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Let's adjust the. It is the Brad and Britt cast, our first one for this week. Thanks for joining us. A little bit early for folks in the live category, but that's all right. That's all right. It allows you to get out there and do all that stuff you do. Okay.
Well, as Dr. Laura used to say, take on the day. We were all big Dr. Laura fans back in the day, weren't we?
I got something you can take right here. All right. Where do you want to start? Rand Paul, Chris Wallace, Alyssa Farah, Elon Musk, or Scranton Vlad? Scranton Vlad.
There's a lot to do here. Let's do the Chris Wallace thing first because this was among the media stuff. It was the huge, massive, unbelievable, shocking story. Chris Wallace leaving Fox News. He's going to join something called CNN Plus, which will be their premium streaming thing that will be in addition to the channel.
Mine. Are you getting that? Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know who it is. I don't know how it is. But Chris Wallace has left Fox News, and apparently it's a big stinking deal in the media industry. That's for sure.
I got to tell you something. He's going to regret this. Oh, my God. Oh, shit. First of all, since everything's really about me or you.
Okay. All right.
I contend that this adds even more weight to my prediction of Brian Williams going to CNN for the 9 o'clock Chris Cuomo hour.
Maybe.
Because what is Chris Wallace, about 74? Right? He's by all measures, and he looks young because he's got the Mike Wallace genes working. His hair won't turn gray till he's 105. I know that.
Right.
But he's 74, and Brian Williams is 62. So there you go. I'm sticking with that. That's kind of a sideshow, and yeah, it's just about me praying that one of my off-the-wall predictions comes true. And then I'll get mileage out of that for about 3 seconds and move on.
Every time you get one of these defections from Fox, it's always supposed to mean something, but I don't know if it ever really means, this Megyn Kelly leaves. Oh, she made her way out. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
No, this is emblematic of Fox News being the Trump station.
Yeah.
Off the charts, because Chris Wallace was essentially, when it's all sorted out, an in-house troublemaker for the agenda. But he was part of the plausible deniability crew that Fox used to pretend and defend itself and allow suck-ups who would say, oh, Fox is the one that's fair and balanced. It's the other ones. Fox has liberals on, but CNN and MSNBC, and look, they have real journalists. They have Chris Wallace. They have Brett Baer. They have Shepard Smith. All right, well, 2 out of 3 of those guys are gone. And Brett Baer is a pussy. Okay, so he's not leaving yet. Because the answer is no one else would want him. Okay, he's got nothing going for him.
Brett Baer's a pussy.
He's got no personality. He has no personality, and he has no brand. Chris Wallace, brand. Shepard Smith, brand. Brett Baer, no brand. Right. So my first question is, hey, Chris, what took you so long? You were there for 18 years. This is a question that we get to ask to Republicans who finally leave the fold and say, I'm no longer a Republican, or I'm anti-Trump, or I'm just done with this shit. The gig is up. And then we always ask, well, what was it that pushed you over the edge? In the case of Chris Wallace, he is saying that this whole Tucker Carlson crap that was on the air a few weeks ago that they threw out there, this whole conspiracy theory thing about the election, that's what did it. Okay, so then we get to ask, oh, you mean, and you can just list, the hundreds of things. All
do
that
you want to know?
Right.
Do you want to know the answer? What took you so long? It really was a shit ton of money. They offered me a whole pile of money. Right. They backed a Brinks truck into the front yards, and I thought, now seems to be a good time for me to leave.
Right. But that being said, of course, we're not in a position to, at least when someone does the right thing, to say, thank you, welcome to the world.
Sure.
And Chris Wallace, to his credit, did manage to ask difficult questions and be a good journalist within the confines of Fox. And they wanted that until it got too uncomfortable, and until the big elephant down at the end of the hall, Tucker Carlson. And by the way, they actually just changed the call letters from FNN, Fox News Network, to TCN, Tucker Carlson Network, because it's his mentality that is ruling exactly what they're doing. They're all in. They're completely all in.
Yeah, but it's not enough. It's that's the thing among a lot of Trump supporters. They think that Fox sucks and they're not doing enough to support Trump, and that's why they're trying to switch over to One America and all this other horse shit.
Well, but the ratings show that Fox hasn't lost anything significant to those channels. I mean,
as of now. But again, this is
like insurance for them. It's insurance for them. I agree. It's insurance.
It's a drip. And almost one of the worst things that could happen to Fox News is Trump running for president in 2024. I know it sounds like it's a great thing. I know it sounds like the ratings would go up and they're going to be your Trump headquarters, but there's going to be a constant drip of Fox isn't doing enough. Fox is against Trump. Fox is forgetting the one that brought him to the dance. All of that stuff is in the water from 2020.
I really think you're onto something there, in that the longer you placate the monster, the more likely it is that you will eventually get eaten by the monster. And they're doing a documentary about this particular problem at Fox on HBO. It's called Succession. Okay. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
The guy, the star of the show is an asshole. He's an old guy, and he's got a big network, and he doesn't know what to do with it, and he's going to sell it. Blah 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 blah. And it's not exactly like Fox, but it's obviously got a lot of the DNA in it. That show, which apparently got 8,000 Emmy nominations, and good for them. It's a good show. I enjoy it. But Chris Wallace to CNN Plus, a streaming thing, which they obviously are serious about it. They're going to put all this kind of money in it. I'm not quite sure though about the economics of it, of which I know nothing. I'm just off the top of my head. There's only so much money available in the news category universe.
That's correct.
And so if this is a premium channel, they're going to not depend so much on advertising. They're believing that people are going to want to pay money for something that needs to be differentiated enough from CNN to say, well, it's just not good enough. Chris Hayes and Lawrence O'Donnell and all that stuff, that's not enough for me. I need more. And I'm not sure that, again, this is what happens every time a new streamer comes online. You know, how many of these can you have? How many are people willing to pay for? But if it's good enough, people will pay for it. They thought HBO Max was going to stiff. It didn't. It didn't
it's
at
done
all.
okay. It's done all right.
And everybody thought, well, what are they going to offer that HBO did? And the answer was a lot more. So I could be wrong about that. And the fact that they went out and grabbed Chris Wallace, I think is
well, Fox is not taking this sitting down. They just signed Andrew and Chris Cuomo to a deal on Fox Nation.
Really?
So I hope you're happy. Yeah. Suck on that. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
By the way, there's another hire. There's another hire at CNN that in its own way is kind of more interesting. They hired Alyssa Farah.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember who Alyssa Farah was? She was she wasn't the most inside the White House, but she was in there. She was part of and she quit back in December. Yeah. That's it. She raised the white flag. I'm out of here after saying that fuck, Biden won the election. You know, she said all the wrong things and cut her ties. And I guess she's been doing some guest auditioning on The View and CNN liked her. So they've hired her. She's attractive. She's well-spoken the whole bit, and she has whatever, I guess, conservative credentials there were with someone who has fallen away from the world of Trump. That's kind of perfect for CNN in its own way. And I just have to close my eyes and put my hands over my ears and try to remember that the fact that her father is one of the worst human beings to ever walk the earth, Joe Farah, the godfather of WorldNet Daily, one of the worst, one of the original right-wing conspiracy sites that, by the way, attacked us.
Oh, geez.
Remember when they went after us years ago on WBT? They went right after us. They were just full of shit. But that's her father. It's not her. So we will not use that against her. But to me, you know, that's an interesting hire too, and more of us will see her more quickly than we will ever see Chris Wallace because it's streaming out there, and you gotta go after it. I assume they'll put it out there for free for a while or something to entice.
Well, they'll have Chris making appearances to entice you to go over and try. You know, all of those things.
Yeah,
all of that stuff they're going to do. You're dying to tell me about Scranton Vlad. I want to hear about Scranton Vlad.
Well, all right. Well, you know, the president of the United States likes to kind of call himself every once in a while Scranton Joe, right? Because he grew up in Scranton for about 4 minutes before his family moved to Delaware, and he tells the story over and over again. He goes back to Pennsylvania all the time and Scranton, and now Vladimir Putin. In order to get down with the people, to show he's one of them, is saying that he had to drive a taxi. He was a cab driver in 1991, right after the Soviet Union fell. According to the BBC. Here's the quote. He says, I had to earn extra money. I would have said I had to earn extra rubles, you see.
I see what you did there. That's cute.
I mean, extra money by car as a private driver. It's wait a second, hold it. That's taxi driver versus now he may have been a limo driver. Anyway, so that's why I use the famous Scranton Vlad. He wants to show the people that he is not above them, that he has done exactly what they have done in their lives. He's had to scramble. He's had to work hard, but now he is to the point where even Elon Musk, just named the Time Person of the Year, richest guy in the world, says he's not sure that he's the richest guy in the world. He thinks Putin, you've heard this forever, that Putin has this fortune socked away forever. And I think the quote from Elon Musk is, yeah, I'm rich, but I still can't invade countries. Okay, so Putin's probably richer.
I'm rich, but I can't invade yet.
Right. If you can invade
Dot.
if you can invade countries and plunder them, you do end up with more money in the end.
I can't invade countries. Dot. Yet, says Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I believe that's what he's
Right.
looking for this time. I'm sorry, I can't. You spit out the list so much, I can't remember some of the other things that are on it. Can you give me another item off of your list, sir? We've done already Chris Wallace, and we've done Scranton Vlad.
The dripping utter hypocrisy that is spelled RAND PAUL, Rand Paul.
Oh yeah, no, this is definitely something that we should. Please hit us up with Rand Paul. Of course, these devastating tornadoes that have been throughout the Midwest and the South. It's Arkansas and Kentucky, Illinois, various places. It's just the devastation is dreadful. Kentucky was hit. Entire towns have been leveled in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and you pick up the story from there.
Thank you, Mr. Cronkite. Very quickly, and I think this might have been Friday morning, Rand Paul was already saying that federal aid needed to be put into instantly. Get that aid flowing. And, that's not how it works. It doesn't. It has to be voted upon.
Yeah, there's stuff that has to happen.
Right. Now, of course, the president has to say, let's get this going, and then it starts to go, and then the Congress votes.
Right.
And Rand Paul is famous for having voted against aid for Superstorm Sandy. That would be New York and New Jersey. Blue state. That was Rand Paul who voted against aid for Puerto Rico after, was it Maria? Right. Was that the name of the?
I believe that's the one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just met a hurricane named Maria, featured in the new West Side Story and the original one. He voted against that because, of course, they're Puerto Ricans. Now, of course, his stated reason to ever vote against these packages of aid for states hit by hurricanes or tropical storms, in the case of Sandy, which was just as devastating as a hurricane, is that they need to be paid for. You love to spend the people's money, don't you? It's just fine. It's just great. Well, you know what? You need to take money out of something else to pay for this, and I vote no. And of course, his ideas did not hold, and the money was voted to help these places. So he was able to go on record as being the guy who he's responsible with the tax money. He just doesn't throw it around. But now Kentucky has been just ravaged, and so have a few other states. And the problem, of course, is that Joe Biden is not that kind of guy. Joe Biden isn't the guy who is going to say, well, Kentucky, they voted for Trump. No aid. That's not the Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the empathy guy. Okay. So Rand Paul, you piece of shit, you don't have to start pretending at any level that Joe Biden is going to block aid to Kentucky. My second question, this is aside from that. Is there some rule, some international law, or maybe just a national law, that when a disaster strikes, that, say, the 2 U.S. senators from that state can't roll up their sleeves and be seen helping out, visiting, being part of the scene, appearing on television, talking about their state? Because if he's been on talking about it, I've missed it. Mitch McConnell. Now, isn't he the senator from Kentucky? I'd have to look that up.
I believe that's correct. I think he is.
Where is he? Where is he? And I understand he's not the governor. That's not the point. That is not the point. Because guess what? When it comes time to demagogue and lie and make excuses for your punitive horseshit voting in the Senate, what do senators do? Like, say, Joe Manchin. Why are you voting no on blah? Because the people of West Virginia, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if you are a senator from West Virginia, if you're a senator from Kentucky and the worst disaster in the state's history happened, where are you? Where are you? I mean, it's all Governor Beshear who, by all measures, has, he's off the charts in terms of the attention he is giving and the detail that he's gotten himself involved in. I mean, he's been fantastic, and it looks like he's about to break down. I mean, he's working that hard.
Sure.
It might be nice. It might be nice to have a united front in a state like Kentucky, which is divided. They have a Democratic governor and they have Republican senator. It would be nice to see all of the leading politicians say, yes, we're going to make sure that aid is asked for and delivered quickly, and that Republicans in the Senate won't block it, that they won't get in the way of this because we're not going to give Joe Biden's money and the tax. They're not going to do that. It would be nice to hear them say that.
I tell you what, I don't want to see. I don't want to see that son of a bitch Brandon walking around the debris over in Mayfield and Bowling Green. I tell you, that's what I don't want to see. But they're so stupid. They do this shit all the time. They oppose stuff politically all the time. But yeah, you're right. When it's in their backyard, hey, let's go ahead and get this going and let's be bipartisan. Hey, we're not Republicans and we're not Democrats today. We just need to get this money flowing for Kentucky. But when the brown people get hit, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure we can work something out for the brown folks.
Well, it's not even race. Remember, it was New York and New Jersey. That's not a brown.
Yeah, well, it's also Puerto Rico. So there's that.
Brown people was Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
but Democrats was New York and New Jersey.
Exactly.
So you have to have your inexcusable reasons.
Oh, and you do remember there was a half minute, not from Rand Paul himself, but from some folks. Those people aren't even Americans. I don't even know if we should help them out so much. Remember, there was a brief moment of that among some of the MAGA folks, among the Donald Trump crowd. Yeah, I don't know if we should help them out so much if they're not really Americans, and they don't consider New York and New Jersey to be America anyway. That's another thing entirely in and of itself. So yeah, it's the pictures are absolutely horrendous and nightmarish, and you can't even imagine waking up in a town that used to be there is completely gone. It's completely leveled. Still trying to figure out, a death count. We have no idea. The totals are going to take a long time getting all that out there, but it's been tremendous. And I'm glad that Rand Paul is being dragged all over the place for being such a hypocritical ass. I mean, he's been a hypocritical ass his entire career, but it's just writ large in neon this time.
Right. Now, can we swing over to the COVID situation, which, depending on what hour you're talking about, it seems to change, or there's good news, then there's bad news, and there's good news. You don't know what to believe. Makes it difficult to make travel plans, all the kinds of things. It's as if the last year of the vaccine didn't happen. Okay. Yeah. And the number of deaths is not quite what it was a year ago, but the number of hospitalizations is back up in a lot of parts of the country. You know all that. Meantime, your favorite Republican, Ron DeSantis,
he's the man,
is making sure that he thinks that Dr. Fauci should be locked up, that he is a criminal, that he.
This is the new lock him up. This is the new Hillary Clinton locker. This is the new. And by the way, it's going to end exactly the same way that locking Hillary Clinton up did. It's going to be.
She's going to lose the election again? She's going to get beat again?
She's not going to go to prison, as they said she would. She will not be tried, locked up, or incarcerated in any way, shape, or form. He's going to be in the same supermax that Hillary Clinton went to when it's all said and done. The lock him up situation.
Yeah, well, and of course this comes from a piece from Jonathan Chait in New York Magazine titled "Normal," quote in quotes, Republican Ron DeSantis wants to lock up Fauci. Being a less deranged authoritarian than Trump is a low bar.
Yeah.
So, and he's fundraising off of this. People see, this is what I guess I can understand it, but I can't understand. Okay, I can't understand it because at the end of the year, in your regular mail, your physical mail is when you get all the stuff. In the last few weeks of the year, every charity that you've ever even looked at in your sleep sends you an envelope asking you for money. I get that, and it must work still, or they wouldn't be sending this out. In addition to the way you can give online, so it's the same thing with political campaigns. But with Lock Him Up, DeSantis is sending out fund solicitations, and it's working. So I just try to get yourself into the head of someone who's sitting there. It's the end of the year. Okay, well, let's see. I got the Alzheimer's, cancer, heart disease, AIDS, COVID relief. Lock him up. Who do I write the check? Wow, that lock him up. That is worth my money. And by the way, this is the one that's not tax deductible too, but not that the people that would be giving at that level are deducting their charitable deductions anyway. But
they're like it's like
that
what really motivates
behind, wasn't it? Sorry.
What really motivates me to give money is the guy that can put that son of a bitch Fauci behind bars. Yes, $20 immediately. I mean, that's essentially. I mean, and we laugh at it because it's such a stupid concept, but that's what's motivating these people. They think that somehow if they can get Fauci in the White, or they can get DeSantis in the White House, he can put Anthony Fauci behind bars. He can put Dr. Fauci in a correctional facility somewhere.
So just so you know the motive behind this. Here's what Jake writes: the demand to lock up Fauci rests on the flimsy pretext that Fauci supposedly lied to Congress when he testified that the NIH, National Institutes of Health, did not fund gain of function research. I guess that's the most detailed kind of research on viruses and things of that sort. Tom Cotton and Ted Cruz, two of the greatest human beings to ever walk. Two other Republicans in the DeSantis wing, have claimed a subsequent NIH letter disproving this testimony. Glenn Kessler of the Washington Post did a fact check on that and said that's wrong. No such admission appears in the letter, and the NIH continues to insist that the work using NIH funds did not constitute gain of function research.
They have seized onto this like a dog with a bone.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan can't go 3 seconds without fucking spewing this shit out, and he's not alone. I mean, there's among the superstars of the right, among your folk heroes, your Laura Ingrams and your Tucker Carlsons and your Joe Rogan, all of those people, they continue to spew this bullshit and this nonsense forever. They just love this. This is one of their favorite narratives.
Yeah. I mean, I made up an early list. I started a list, and you know how every news organization, you get late here into December, they'll put out their top 10 news stories of the year, right? Then they all do it, and it's usually pretty predictable, right? There's nothing that's very surprising about the top stories, and they might be in a little bit different order. But I did it as if Fox News was doing their top 10 stories of the year, and I started with the top 3. Number 1, violent escalation of war on Christmas. Liberals burn down Fox Christmas tree. Most important story. Top story number 2, Trump continues battle for truth and fair elections. Number 3, COVID mask vaccine hoax heroically resisted by freedom-loving Americans. You see that their top 10 list is not the same as everybody else. I didn't finish it because I just started it. I wanted to put it up in bold letters, but it's really easy to do. It's kind of a fun exercise. Have fun with it.
Where are we on the? Are they still able to demagogue the awful tragic burning of that tree, which is the worst thing that's ever happened in human history?
Yeah. I have 2 words for you, Britt. You ready?
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor.
Oh yeah.
First of all, it happened on December 7th. All right.
Yeah.
Which was a lovely coincidence for them. And there were some folks who decided that this was the worst attack on America. Because remember the Fox formula. When something like this happens, first, it's an attack on Christianity. Because as you know, the Christmas tree when Jesus was hung from a Christmas tree. I don't know my Christian.
That's exactly what
He was
happened.
the original Christmas ornament, wasn't he?
He was. That's what happened. He was the angel hopper. That's exactly what happened.
All right. So it's the war on Christmas has been escalated. Now, it doesn't matter that it was like a homeless guy who was just an idiot who they arrested.
A homeless guy with ties to Antifa.
Well, no, you know what I think? I think he may be the unknown Biden son. You know, there was Hunter, there was Bo, and then this guy, Bocephus Biden, who did it. Oh, there it is. You found the headline.
I'm glad you didn't go with Shlomo. It wasn't Shlomo Biden burning down the Christmas tree.
No.
Bocephus Biden. Which reminds me of a funny story, which is another. I'm just going to go ahead and chase this rabbit. Our friend Pete Bunch, when he was doing Afternoon Drive on Rock 92, whenever they would never play Hank Williams Jr. When Hank Williams Jr. would come to town, they would buy commercials on the radio station because it was, there was an overlapping audience. He would call him Bo Feces live on the with great aplomb, I might add. Bo Feces. Which, by the way, is like the worst.
Did he get any calls from anybody?
But as usual, Pete didn't give a shit. He did radio the correct way, which is don't give a shit. It's the worst thing you can order on the Bojangles menu. I'm just going to say that right there. Don't ever get that.
But right now it's 2 for $2.
Well, you might reconsider if it's 2 for $2.
When they cut the price, I just have to pull in there. And get them.
Give me the Bo Feces, and I'd like the dirty rice and sweet tea, of course.
Yeah.
So Bocephus Biden has burned the Christmas tree, and it is the greatest atrocity in American history since Pearl Harbor.
Well, this is the if you take this to its logical end, which is to distract from the reality that there is a legitimate investigation going on right now into a plot from inside the United States government, as it was up until January 20th, 2021, that climaxed on January 6th in an attack on the United States Capitol, attempting to reverse the outcome of the election. What better way to do it with your people than to talk about something completely frivolous like this? In effect, a street crime. But
this is where the Fox.
But that's what this is, Britt, because of course the goal here ultimately gets you to why isn't there a congressional investigation, a special panel to investigate this hate crime, as opposed to the trumped up fake hoax panel that is looking into the day in the park, January 6, 2021, at the U.S. Capitol. That's always what it's about. This is
where the people who work at that building in New York, who basically would never associate with somebody from a small town in the South or the Midwest, they really have to put on the tears and the bullshit to act like they're in solidarity, because we know what Christmas trees mean to you in the South and in the Midwest, and how important that is to you. And we know how the values that you espouse as Christians are being attacked on a daily basis. So we're going to wrap our arms around this as if it's the massive tragedy.
It's perfect. Well, it's perfect.
These are people that they couldn't find a Carhartt jacket with both hands around their asses, but they feel like they've really got this in common with Clem Cadiddlehopper.
Wait a second. This could have been a false flag. They could have done
100%.
What do you think?
Sure. Oh, absolutely. 100%. This could be, one of those situations. The Dresden fire. It's the new Dresden situation or whatever, where some guy does this and this really fires up the troops. And this is what separates us versus them, you see.
Yeah.
In our hearts, this Christmas tree, which, by the way, rooted in pagan tradition, Again, never mind. There's nothing. I'm gonna throw one on you, Brad. That's gonna just absolutely stun the shit out of you. Nothing biblical about a Christmas tree. Nothing biblical at all. You can't find anything about the apostles pitching a Christmas tree. You can't. There's nothing in there about it. In fact, there's some people that say you kind of put that as it's kind of be a false idol. People worship that, turn their attention to that instead of Jesus.
You're factually right, but you do not listen closely. You do not want to use that.
No, you can't.
The attack on Fox for being full of shit. That's not.
You can't, because it's first of all, it's factual, and you can't do that. You just can't use facts. But I've many years ago when we were on the radio at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, they were having different symbols of stuff, and they didn't want to put a Christmas tree in the library. And I was like, you guys are so super full of shit. Put the Christmas tree up there and put a menorah and put all of the different artifacts when it comes to religion, because you have to have some tolerance. I would understand if somebody wanted to put if they had a statue of Jesus and he's dying on the cross and they plant that in the middle. That's not this. This is just a tree. It's just it's this pagan thing that they think that, and somehow again, the values of America have been attacked by this homeless guy setting fire to this wire, whatever this fucking thing is.
You just got me thinking about the famous Barbara Walters question. If you were a Christmas twee, what kind of Christmas twee would you?
The kind of Christmas twee that barely is a twee at all, that just has a bunch of stuff glued to it. That's what it is. But it's
not. By the way, and we had time for one more thing. The first thing that came to mind last week when I heard that Mike Nesmith of the Monkees had died was, he goes right to the top of the list of, wait a minute, Nesmith is dead, but Trump is still alive.
Exactly.
About the same age. I think about like 78, something like that.
Something like
that. Wasn't right. That's not right. And then a friend of mine made the note for all of you zoo and animal. There are more beetles alive than monkeys.
Which is weird, right?
2 beetles, 1 monkey. 2 beetles.
Who was your favorite monkey?
I probably like Davy Jones.
I was a Peter guy.
Like the Davester.
I like Peter. If we're going to wrap up, it's this guy now puts himself at the top of the guys in sports who is most like Donald John Trump. Urban Meyer, apparently, rumors just circulating around Jacksonville that somehow, some way, they're going to try to get rid of him at $12 million a year. The Khan family, among other things. Brad, he called. Have you heard some of the details on this?
I've not. You know what? This is new to me. So
this is fantastic.
You get a chance for me to react to this.
There were stories that were coming out that he went around the room, was blaming the assistant coaches for them losing games, and he said they were a bunch of losers. He's been a winner, and he made them go around the room and defend their resumes. It's one of the things that he did. And now that the details have leaked out and it looks like that he's in bad shape, he's now gone to the dais in front of the world yesterday and saying, whoever the son of a bitch who is the source for this, I'm going to find him, and they're fired. This is the guy who is most.
It's the Trump. It's the Trump thing, which is It's not the outrage. It's not the information. It's not the breaking of the law. It's not the violating the norm. It's the fact that you found out about it. That's the problem.
That's right.
That's always the issue.
It's not that the information is false. It's not that I was a son of a bitch. It's not that what is being said is 100% correct. It's that we got a rat in here, and I'm going to get this motherfucker out. Urban Meyer, I think, is the guy who is most like Donald Trump in the world of sports, at least this week. Now, in the coming days, I can be convinced it's somebody else.
Now, what? How do you go around the room and ask people to defend themselves and their resumes? You hired them.
Exactly.
Didn't you look at them?
Exactly.
Didn't you examine them before you hire? What is this? What
and here's another. Surprisingly, some of these people are leaving for other jobs. And gosh, if I'm an assistant coach, sign me up. I want to work for this dude. I want to be the next guy. Let me be this guy's offensive coordinator.
Doc, I hear 3 of them are going to CNN. See what I did there.
All right. We'll leave it there.
Leave it there. Bye.
We'll see you tomorrow. Regular time, 1:30.